Hey guys, welcome back to the mill. This morning we're going to do something a little different. These WoodMizer, our WoodMizer LT35 runs on a 25 horse Kohler Commander. You have to service these things. Every 50 hours we'll stop and change the oil in it. Been doing it since 2014. Motor runs great. I know some people will go a little longer on their oil changes, but when I take the oil out at 50 hours, it's black, so it needs changed. All we're gonna need for this project is we got our 10W30 oil, some wrenches to take the drain plug loose. I actually got a new fuel filter. I run clean fuel. You know, we don't, all our jugs that we use are clean, but it still don't hurt to change fuel filter. And I got an oil filter. Now, if you go buy one of these little Kohler oil filters, they'll sell you a filter about that tall for $12. You go find your own, but this is a Ram 3600. If I'm not mistaken, it fits like a mid-90s Toyota Camry. But look at the difference in the volume. I bought these on Amazon for 10 of them for like $3.50 a piece. Do what you want to, but this is what I use. I like it. It's a lot cheaper, a lot better filter quality, I believe, and it has definitely a lot more volume. I believe these little motors hold about 1.7, 1.9. You can probably figure with this oil filter about 2 quarts of oil. It's cheap. There's no excuse for not keeping your oil in good shape. So let's do it this morning. And we got a little greasing to do too. There's some grease fittings on the mill, and every 50 hours we try to go through and put just a little grease in it. Thanks, guys. Okay guys, we're going on this sawmill. They was nice enough to put a flexible extender, which makes it nice and easy. Oh, I keep a little bucket around just to catch the oil. I'll go ahead and take the fill cap off. Give the motor a little room to breathe. There we go. It's cold this morning, but if you can see that oil, it's not horrible, but it don't look like new. And like I said, this oil change is so cheap, there's no excuse not to do it for the longevity of your motor. I haven't priced these exactly, but I'm pretty sure they're over $3,000 to replace one. So 2 quarts of oil and a filter. What is that nowadays? Less than 20 bucks, you know, 15 bucks. Or like this, I bought 5 quarts off of Amazon for, I think it was $21. It's cheap, it's good insurance, well worth doing. While it's draining, it's a good opportunity to look at your mill. On a electric over hydraulic especially, there's a lot of load on the alternator. You want to check your belt, make sure it's good and tight. If you're running your mill and you're having trouble with your hydraulics being a little slow, it's going to be several things, one of several things. It could be your alternator belt is slipping, it's running low on voltage, as well as your contact points over here on the side of the beam. You got to clean this stuff. You know, I'm just as bad as everybody else. Sometimes I'll wait till it starts acting up, but a little preventive maintenance will help you out tremendously. Okay. Move over here. If you can see, right here's the oil filter we're going for. Put a little attention on it. reach in there and get that loose. Brought me a rag. Okay. One fram filter off. I'm sure most of you know it, but always lubricate your seal just a little bit with some oil. I'll make sure this flange is clean and that the other gasket didn't get stuck up there. We'll spin it back on. And just hand tight. Plus a little bit's all you need. There we go. While we're waiting on it to drain, go ahead and pop out this fuel filter. Yeah. I can't necessarily see any particulate in it, but every 50, 100 hours, it's still good insurance. You can buy these off of Amazon, eBay. I think I bought like 20 of these for 10 bucks. You know, it already comes with a little piece of pipe on it and the clamps. Can't beat it. Clean fuel's just as important as clean motor oil. I think we've got 1,150 hours on it, and it's been a very good, reliable motor. Very few issues. You need to clean the air filter. I recommend it at least once a week, if not more. I just cleaned it yesterday. No big deal. Take it off, take air hose, blow it from the inside out. Okay, that's the oil filter on, new fuel filter on, and we're still waiting on the oil to finish draining itself out. Like I say, it's a little cold, or cool. It's not cold this time of year, but it's I'd rather do it after it's set a while, because any sediment or anything, it's going to come out with it. But you can see the color of that oil. That's why I recommend changing it. If it was still golden brown, we wouldn't worry about it, but that's not golden brown. As you can see, all the oil's drained out. This little plug is brass on brass, so all it needs to be is tight. It don't have to be German engineered Guden tight. Just tight. It's not going to leak. I just put, I don't know, about 10-15 pounds on it. That's all you need. Okay, we got that in there. Got our funnel in. Good gracious. Look what we're in there. Pour 2 quarts in. They were nice enough on these containers to give you a sight window. Started at 5, so we need to get all the way down to 3 quarts. Just a little bit more. Also, another good thing to change about every 150, 200 hours is the spark plugs. Use a quality spark plug. Usually NGK, Bosch, something like that for these little engines. They'll give you better performance. So the dipstick on these Kohlers are right here. So let me verify that we got enough oil in it to crank it up. I have to excuse the noise this morning, it's raining. Okay. We're actually just a little over full. By the time it cycles through the oil filter, should be pretty good. So crank it up, let it run for a minute, and we'll check the oil. Check the oil level. Okay, that should be enough time to soften the oil through the engine. We'll let it level itself back out and do a final check. We'll go ahead and look at it now. Yeah, that's going to be good. We'll let it set for a second. Do it again. That's about all the service maintenance items on the engine. If you'll take care of it, it'll take care of you. Like I say, it's so, the expense is so small, it don't stretch your oil changes. Do them on time. While you're down, take a good minute and walk over the mill and look for things. Nuts, bolts, and screws that get loose. Good time to check all your rollers down here. I keep bearings for these rollers. We'll go over here to the toolbox. Yeah, I buy bearings by the roll. They're 10 pack. They're cheap. They're like $1 a piece. Extra cages and stuff, nuts and bolts that break. I mean, if you're sawing weekends, guys, you won't need all that stuff. But if you're doing like we do, we saw daily, you need lots and lots of parts. I can take you over to my old chainsaw building we built several years ago. Hard to see it over there, but before we had this building, we built that little building just to store WoodMizer stuff. And I got shelves of spare parts. These up and down actuators go bad. I got a couple of those. The travel actuator, they'll go bad. Belts, I keep normally the dry belt that goes from the motor, to the driven pulley. I'll keep, when I buy 4 or 5 of them. The dry belts in here that the blade itself runs on. I don't buy one. I don't know how many we got left here. There's 1, 2, 3, there's 5, there's 6 of them left sitting here new. And it's not that I go through that many of them. I just don't want to get caught without them. And the other reason to keep new is periodically, if you change one of these bearings or one of these over here, sorry, if you change one of these out, you're gonna upset the balance of your mill, the way it's running down the carriage. It may be trying to cut uphill, it may be tapered one way or the other, so you have to go back and set the mill up from zero. And it's best to do that with 2 new blades, or excuse me, a new blade on the mill, as well as 2 new belts. That way you get your mill set back to zero to where to cut properly. And we'll go over that one day. It's a tedious process for me and Matthew to do a complete reset, take it back to zero, and make it saw right. Is what, normally an hour and a half.
If it wants to work with us, yeah. If
Yeah.
it doesn't want to work, it can be a half-day ordeal.
Yeah, it can be a tedious process. This is why WoodMizer, they offer a service. Our local dealer, I'm sure the rest of them do. Joe over at WoodMizer Carolinas, they'll come out once a year and do a yearly service for individuals that don't know how, don't want to do it, or never learn, because things move. These mills, they're violent, they're running hard, and things will get out of alignment. And it takes some time to get it set back up to cut right. But we cut so much, and I'm just not going to pay somebody that kind of money for mechanical work that we can learn how to do. Speaking of that, just the other day, we didn't video it. These rails. I'm sorry, we got the camera extended here. These rails sit parallel to one another, and I had noticed every time I square a cant and turn it over, I was getting a little space on this side. And what had happened, it has tension bolts here and it has a jack bolt. The jack bolt on both sides, the nut had come loose, and it had allowed this end to settle a little bit and that end over there to settle a lot. So we had to take time and re-level the bed. It's not difficult, but it is tedious. These lift arms, as they come up and down, they have a adjustment here. Every so often you'll need to bring those back into spec. And it may be because the way we saw a lot of big wood, and we load a lot of it on there with the tractor, and you'll get a lot of impact sometimes with that. Try to avoid it, but sometimes you get it, and it'll move stuff around, and you have to go back and get it back in level. So okay, let's check the oil on this thing, and we should be done with the service part of it. Just a hair over full, but I'm okay with that. Okay guys, we're gonna go through and grease this thing. I don't have a lot of complaints on this mill. I don't have a whole lot of complaints with WoodMizer as far as quality, but this right here is one thing that they really cheaped out on, and they shouldn't have. All the grease fittings, here's a normal grease fitting. You see it's got threads on it. You screw it in tight and it stays there. On this, all they did, they used the slick wall drive-in grease fittings. That's quick and easy. It works. It gets you out, it gets it out of the mill, out of the building, and it's gone. Well, out here in the field, this mill is almost 10 years old. Those push-in grease fittings eventually get loose, and they'll either push out when you're trying to get grease in it, or in the case of this one, Matthew was looking for it, it wasn't there, it fell out. So we have to go back and do what they should have done to start with. Took a 15/64 drill, drilled the hole out, and I'm tapping it with a 1/4 inch plug, or 1/4 inch tap, excuse me. I've already run it all the way in. I'm not going to do a whole video on tapping, but just, you've never done it before. Be careful, go slow. A lot of back and forth. Okay. There's a little 1/4 inch tap. Now we can put a grease fitting in that will properly stay and take grease, and if something happens, we hit it and need to replace it, it's easy to screw it in, screw it out, put a new one in its place. So there we go. Once again, these are not German engineered, so they don't have to be good and tight, just tight. Okay, let's put a little grease in it, Matthew, see if it'll take it. Oh, here's a guy. Oh, we're going to use our DeWalt grease gun today. We hadn't purchased the Milwaukee one yet, but it's on the list. There we go. See the grease come out? That's that one. Let's move on down the line. Okay. I hope they all take grease. We don't have to replace too many of them.
You missed a fitting. Come back into that pan.
Oh yeah. Just want to put a little grease in it till you see some of the old grease squirt out. I know there's one here. There it is. Did it come out there? It's the only one on the head.
As far as I know, that's the only one.
Okay, the turret arms have one. Uh-oh. That didn't take grease. That didn't take grease.
Well, let's try the roll method here first.
Sometimes on these you can move where the rod's positioned, and it'll take grease a little easier. That one's not taking grease. And that fitting's bad, it's not taking grease. So, we'll come back to it. Let me go ahead and grease these. That one's good. That one's good. I'm gonna give that one a move, Matthew, and see if it'll. I'm gonna get my hands out of the way, and he's gonna move the arm up and down and see if it will allow it to take grease. Yeah, you can go all the way down.
Okay, I didn't know if I could go all the way.
Okay, got another clogged one we're gonna have to figure out why. That one took grease.
You still got that last one.
Okay, and then the last stabilizer arm here. That took grease.
We got all these out here.
And we got our log lifting arms. There's 3 on each leg. That one took grease. That one took grease.
That's good.
Yeah, that one got it. And 3 more here. Oh, yeah. There we go. That one. Try that one again. Yeah, it squeezed out right here. Okay, that's all of them, with the exception of these 3 that didn't take grease. Matthew's gonna go grab a tool, and we're gonna try compression method.
Called percussive maintenance.
Yeah, Matthew's term for it is percussive maintenance, but when you get a stuck grease fitting, it won't flow grease. Normally what's happened, the grease that's in here has gotten hard. If it was on a piece of equipment, I'd probably just take the old blue wrench, put a little heat to it, and it'll come right there. But we're in a shop full of sawdust, and we don't want to do that. All you got is a locking grease fitting and a piston. You can use oil. I have to have a little squirt bottle of automatic transmission fluid. Partially fill it. And you want to strike it. If everything's aligned, hopefully that drove enough pressure through that fitting to allow it to take grease. Not a guarantee, but you got to start somewhere. We're going to have to change that fitting.
We didn't hit that one yet.
Let me try the next one before we go swapping out fittings. See if we'll see if we had any better luck with this one.
No.
No. Okay.
We got one more over here.
There we go. I'm gonna just do much of this one. A good spot. This one is in such a bad spot. I'm actually going to run a little tension up on it. You see I'm overloading the relief valve on the DeWalt grease gun because it's actually pushing a little bit out over the overflow. I'm going to put pressure on it and just let it set for a minute. Because this one's a bear to change. These two over here won't be too bad. Probably need power pliers, snap them out because they're just push ends.
They got a head on this brother, huh?
Well, let's see. Might have changed these already. We've changed a great many of them. Yep. Yeah, I drilled and tapped that one already. Okay. I went and got a drill bit. I'm gonna see if I can feel some hard grease in there. Yeah, right down next to the rod, it's gotten grease gotten very hard. I'm gonna go up a size or two and see if I can get a little dirt out of there. Let's see, we was drilling probably 1364 in there. Yeah. I went and got just a little bigger drill bit, and what I'm getting out of there is, oh yeah, I can feel it in my finger. That grease is hard, it's dried out. I hope getting that out of the way, we can shove some grease through there. There you go.
You want to try and reuse those or put in new?
I don't think there's anything wrong with them. They weren't leaking. I mean, they were holding pressure. It just wasn't allowed to go through. We'll give it a try. Yahtzee. You can see it squeezed out on this side. See the grease where it come out there. So that one's fixed. Now, bear in mind that we knew this joint had gotten dry, so we'll probably run it a day, and then I'll make sure and grease this joint specifically to get good clean grease all the way around that shaft. Lucky for us, we got a tap lid in here, so I won't fight it. I'll just kind of re-tap the top of that hole a little bit. There we go. Must have had just a slight burr on it. These are fine threaded anyway, which makes them a lot more difficult to start. There we go. No need to re-tap the whole hole. Just the top of it where it's restart. Much better. Took the thread first time. There we go. Now, let's see if it'll take grease. There we go. All it needed. Now, for the last little aggravating one down here. Sorry guys, this was not going to be this long a video. We were just going to change oil and grease it. And sometimes it just don't work out that way. There. Okay, grab my hand a little bit. It ain't taking grease, so just gonna get in here to it. Hopefully it's nope, the size smaller, Matthew, so it's gonna be one of those darn push ends. Might as well bring a pair of pliers, we'll yank it out and drill and tap it. There it is, guys. I hate these. They're just designed to drive in, and they're great till they don't work anymore. And we're out here and we have to replace it. Okay, get our drill bit. Oh, we got it all out here. see if I can get that little wad of hard grease that was probably hindering everything out of there. Let's see it. Okay. What we need to do with this, Matthew, is switch over and put a socket on this and get it out.
I think you can put a socket on that.
We'll be right back, folks. Okay, let me show you what we got. I took my tap holder and the T-handle. I drove the T-handle out to where I can get a socket on it, because I'm reaching into a hole here. I'm going to gently try to run this tap in. When you start feeling a little resistance on your tap, just back up a little bit, clear the threads, go forward again. These taps are super hard. If you overdo them, they'll just shatter and break, and then you've made a bad problem even worse. You're gonna have to try to dig it out of there, or get some cobalt drill bits to try to drill it out. Off there. See if we got enough threads. Yep. New grease fitting. Okay.
It's done on the fender.
Take Matthew's long extension here.
Stuff your piece of your paper towel in there and it won't dry down.
Yeah, or dirt.
Well, we don't want to put dirt in there because we're trying to put in something that's clean.
Yeah. Our socket's a little deep to use it to try to start with, so I'm gonna take Matthew's suggestion, put a little clean rag in there. Now I've got enough threads sticking up that I can try to get it in here and get it started. There we go. Tight enough. Oh, let's pray it takes grease. Okay. There we go. Hoorah, we got it. Hey guys, you've seen us go through and service the mill. You never know what you're gonna find. I didn't expect to find 3 grease fittings this morning that we had to repair and replace, but it's part of owning one of these, keeping up with the maintenance. Let me show you one last thing and we'll get out of here. Now you can do whatever works for you. I do, this works for me. If you've seen our videos, you've seen my blue tape here. This is our oil change sticker. I keep it right here where I don't forget it. If you can see on the mill, we went a couple hours over, but we'll put a new oil change sticker on it and some other things I keep up with. I can put a new drive belt on, 1123 hours, replace the other belts, you know, put new spark plugs in January, you know, different things I keep up with. You can write it down anywhere, but I do it right here in front of the mill. That way it's in front of my face all the time. I can keep an eye on it. But if you have any questions on WoodMizer maintenance, tech tips, stuff like that, just drop them in the comments. We'll try to answer them. Once again, we really appreciate you tuning into our channel, Bearded Lumber. If you would, take the opportunity to like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you back at the mill.